on everyone, Corey Baker here. Thought I'd make a video today. This is going to be a big video. So I don't really, as you know, I don't really do too many videos too often. But I've started a new hobby, and the new hobby is whip making. So I thought I'd start off a video with a nice bit of drone footage over the ocean. Just went early walk with a friend down the coast, and I got the drone out. Thought I'd get some nice video for you guys. So basically, I've made now 6 whips. It's been a thing that I've always really wanted to be good at and do, because I've done a lot of whip cracking. You know me, I've done whip cracking since I was 17 years old, or maybe 16 years old. So I've been whip cracking for a long time. And I did attempt to make a whip, and I did make a video on my YouTube channel, but when I did that, it must have been 2016, I did make a very subpar kind of shit whip. It wasn't very good. And then I attempted to make an Indiana Jones whip, and that was a complete disaster. And I never picked it up again until now. So fast forward 2023, we're going to, I decided to, I've got a bit of time on my hands, got a bit bored, and I decided to try again. And I tried it again, and it was a success, and I've made now 6 kind of pretty, well, I'd say 5 good ones, and then there was one iffy one, which I'll show you a bit later when I get back to the house. And so I decided, because a few people were really interested about how they're made, so I decided to make this video about making the 7th whip, which is going to be a Kingdom of the Crystal Skull Indiana Jones whip. So I'm going to try and make it as close as I can. Of course it wouldn't be 100% because I'm not making whips out of leather, I'm making whips out of paracord. And a big thank you to Nick Schrader from Nick's Whip Shop, which has made all this, he's made all this possible, because he's done a really great YouTube channel about how to make these whips. So really all credit goes to him for all the tutorials that he's put up. He's a really, his videos are very high quality, and they're pretty much made, I've pretty much learnt it from scratch from the internet how to make these whips. So for the 7th whip, I've decided to film it, and we're going to make a 10-foot Kingdom of the Crystal Skull style Indiana Jones whip. It's going to have 3 bellies, so it's going to be quite thick at the start of the handle. It's going to table down 10 feet. It's going to be really awesome. So I'm going to style it after Kingdom of the Crystal Skull whip. And a whip I've always wanted to own was a Terry Jacker J series. So Terry Jacker was the whip maker. He was commissioned in making a whole bunch of whips for Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Say what you will about that indie movie. It's not the best, but it's definitely not the worst, I think. But yeah, those whips are really awesome, and I've always wanted to own one. And obviously, they're a bit rare to cut and hard to come by now, because I think he's retired. I don't know. Someone in the comments might be able to tell me. But you can't really buy them anymore, and they just look like a really awesome whip to own. So I'm gonna make one as close as I can, or from just pictures, to that whip. I'm gonna make it. It's gonna have a really tight binding. So it's going to be a short handle because it's the Indiana Jones whip, but it's going to have tight binding, so it's a very stiff transition, and it should be a really awesome whip once it's finished, and if I succeed in this journey. So come with me guys, see how I go. Well guys, I've made a new video, and guess what I did? I didn't turn the microphone on, so here is future Corey dubbing this video. As you can see, I'm quite happy with myself holding this metal rod. This metal rod is what... Oh, hang on. Now it's the ball chain. The metal rod is what's in the handle of the whip. And the ball chain, what I'm holding right now, is what is weighted in the very core of the whip. So what I'm going to do, what I'm doing now on the video, is I'm threading the ball chain through the very inner strand, of paracord, which I'm going to use as the core of this whip. I only run it for about half the whip, so 5 feet, because it's a 10-foot whip. What I'm doing now is I'm filing rebate into the metal rod, which is the handle again, and I'm going to slide the strand of paracord over, as you can see here, over the metal rod. And I'm just getting the ball chain right up until towards the end of the metal rod, and now there it is, snug over the rebate. Now I rebate this with a grinder. I was just doing the finishing touches of the file. Now I'm using electrical tape to seal off the ball chain from the basically the air and stuff, so it won't, like the chain, I'm pretty sure I've got stainless steel, so it won't really rust or anything, but I don't really want water to get into this part of the whip or any moisture, so I'm going to wrap down the core with electrical tape, as you see here. So it's a bit of a painstaking process, but you go all the way down with electrical tape, and that stops the moisture getting in to the ball chain. Now, a lot of people use BBs. BBs, ball bearings, more like. I don't use that method. I use ball chain. My housemate he's in the blinds business, and he can get a lot of this ball chain for me quite easily. So I asked him to get me some of this ball chain, and it works great because it's already got a nice flow to it. All right, so basically with a Terry Jacker whip or J series whip, you want a tight transition. So that's what I'm doing now. Now I'm using this really awesome stuff called artificial sinew, which is like a waxed string, and I've just found it almost like the best thing to use while whip making. And what I'm doing is I'm just tightening up the transition with the artificial sinew. As you see here, I've finished binding it, and now it's got a nice transition from the handle and onto the core, and it's just got that little like flare there, and that's quite good for the transition because you don't really want it like a stringy transition in that point. You need it a bit stiff already, even though it's just the core. Alright, now I've gotten the paracord out. Now we're making this entire whip out of paracord, which is a synthetic material. It's basically nylon, and it comes in all different colors and thicknesses. I'm using 550 paracord for most of this whip, which is basically the main and the most common type of paracord. Now, all you do is what I'm doing now is I'm measuring the lengths of strands I need. For each belly of this whip, we'll be doing a plait called a herringbone plait down the whip, and basically the thicker we get, the more strands we need. Anyway, they vary in thickness. They vary in lengths, so I'm just cutting them to there. Now here I'm doing the gutting of the paracord. I'm cutting. Basically, you don't want to plait the whip with the paracord with the string inside the core of the paracord. You need it flat, like I'm showing you here. Alright, I'm about to start showing you how to do a herringbone plait. Very simple. This is going to be an 8 plait, so it's not too difficult when you start out. But it is a little bit fiddly getting it started, as you see this is what I'm doing right here. You cross over 2 strands, and then you make a little loop, what I'm doing now, and you're going to feed the other 2 strands down into this loop. Now I'm about to start the herringbone plait. To do a herringbone plait is fairly simple. You basically get the top string that the very bottom one is pointing to, more like. So now this one, see what I'm doing now, the one at the bottom is pointing to the right. So the top right strand goes in the middle, so below 2, over 2, and that is it. That is the plait. It is quite... It looks a little bit difficult and hard, but honestly, once you get it, it's extremely easy. Right. Alright guys, so we're going to take a little break and talk about some of the other whips I've made. And I've got them just down on the floor here, and this is my first one I've done since starting up again. This is, well, it was supposed to be a 6 foot bullwhip. It's got a 10-inch handle, but it turned out, I think it would turn out to be 5 foot. Came out a bit small. It's got a Caracker Whips cracker on it because I wasn't making my own at that point. And yeah, it is definitely a bit on the amateur side. It's got like I was using different wax back then as well. So I got paraffin wax from this Australian candle shop online, and yeah, that wasn't really going too well. But anyway, it cracks and it's good. But you know, you can see on the candle there, it's a bit got the artificial sinew popping out from the heel knot there, and it is a bit rough. But you know, it could have been a lot worse. So I'm actually really happy about it, really. And I'm doing things a lot differently now. But I only did this in February, so a lot has happened since then. I'll tell you right now. So yeah, it's still a pretty good whip, and I'm gonna keep this one forever, I think, because this is gonna be my true first one, I reckon. All right, guess what I did? I forgot to turn on the microphone, didn't I? So hopefully background dubbing, you know, hopefully I dubbed it in the background and I was talking through it. Anyway, this is the first belly completed. I think I might cut the core down. I've been thinking about it. Cut the core down to 5 foot, which is kind of like half of the whip. Anyway, we've got the core all finished. You can see the drop strands on there. And this is, you know, obviously this is an 8 plait. There it is. It's a bit of a party next door, so. But today, I've just been to work. The other footage was yesterday. Today, I think I'm going to, well, obviously I'm going to cut these strands off and burn them onto the core, onto the belly. And I will also bind the whip, do the bit of binding, and then I will probably cut the next strands for the next belly and call it a day. Right, just cutting these kind of close to the body, to the plaiting, and going to burn them, or melt them more like. What I am going to do is cut a little piece of this cowhide here. I'm using as heel knots foundations. Here we go. So I don't burn my hand. I'll show you what this is like. Just making it smooth. There you go. Nice and melted onto the plaiting. Alright. So, a while back I got really into this little miniature game called Star Wars X-Wing, where you fight with like miniature models of Star Wars ships, and me and my housemate made this. It's like a playing board. Anyway, we don't really play that anymore, and it's coming quite handy for rolling the bellies and the overlay of the whips. And also then I made this roll, almost like it's like a roller of 2 handles to really help me roll the whips. Anyway, this is not very, it's only 2.5 feet this, so it won't be too long till it won't take very long. But this is one of my favourite bits of whip making because you get to see it all comes out all smooth, and I'll get to show you a close-up after we're done, but it's just so smooth, the plaiting, once you do this step, and that usually looks really nice. There we go. But now, let's see if we can see it. See that it's all very smooth now, the plaiting. So it'll help us a lot when we go to bind it now. Alright, back to the clamp, all rolled. Now is the bit where we bind the first belly, and this what this will do is make the transition from the handle to the plaiting and the belly a lot smoother and stiffer for when we want, because this is a 10-foot bullwhip, and the Terry Jacker J series whips are renowned to having a really stiff transition. So the artificial sinew has something to grip onto. I'm just going to wrap this down, not too far. But we'll go there. We'll go a little bit of a ways down. This is about to run out, actually. This athletic tape. So that's really all I want to do so far. I think on the first belly, it's just down here. It's not very far. Honestly, I think it's only about 6 inch. I might measure it for you just to see what's going on here, and for my own peace of mind. Measuring tape, there's the transition now. Yeah, only about 6 inch of tape. We'll leave it at that for this early on. But later on, and when we get the other bellies, we'll go further down the whip. Anyway, I'm just going to use my this coloured artificial sinew. Let's get it started. Now this has got to be one of my least favourite bits of whip making. I've never been very good at it. So I'm going to go all the way down the athletic tape bit, and then go up and down 3 times. And then because I want this transition on this really stiff, I'm going to go probably another go as well, but with nylon thread. So what I'm going to do, because this is extremely boring to watch. Maybe you guys are loving this, I don't know actually. But I'm going to stop the camera here so I can concentrate on this, and once we're doing it, I'll show you the nylon thread start as well. Alright everyone, here we have the first belly binded with artificial sinew. As you can see now, it's already stiffening up quite nicely, but it needs a bit of springiness. So this is actually going to be the first time I'm going to try and do some binding with some nylon thread. Here we have it, guys. This is the finished belly, first belly of the whip, and I've just binded it with the nylon thread I was talking about, and I like it. It's actually really cool. It's a bit springy too. So I'll be doing this for pretty much every whip in the future, I think, because it's just the results I've gotten right now. It's really nice. But yeah, nice. Alright, so we're going to roll it one more time, and then I think I might cut the strands for the next one, and then that'll be it for the day. Right, now this is a special one. This is the one this is the one that really kicked off my whip making kind of passion. Here is a young Indiana Jones bullwhip. It's supposed to be 8 foot, but I think it's come out, I think it's almost like 7.5 foot or something. Didn't get quite to 8 foot, but anyway, that's alright. But anyway, it cracks really good as well. It's got the smallish handle, and you know, I really wanted to give this one a go, because this is the one I actually kind of set out to make this at the very beginning. Again, I was using different wax at this point, so I would really like to reattempt this at one point coming up soon, because I think it'll probably turn out a lot better than what this one's turned out like. Although it does crack quite well, it just should really be a little bit longer, I think. Anyway, it looks really good, doesn't it? I really wanted to give it a go, because I cut off the plaiting at this point and unraveled it, and then I plaited the red on it. So there we go. The second whip. It's actually not too bad for the second whip, I tell you right now. I'm really glad. I'm really happy with it, really. So there we go. Whip number 2. Young Indiana Jones whip. So it's supposed to look like the whip from the very beginning of The Last Crusade, where he goes into the circus carriage of the train and uses it on the line. So that's what it's meant to look like. Saturday night. Right, I had a break from the old whip making and went to the pub and had a meal with some friends. But you know what? I've just I just watched the Weird Al Yankovic movie called Weird, and it was pretty weird. It was like it took me a while to actually realise it was actually a parody itself. Anyway, whatever. It's time to make the rest of this, or continue making it more like. I'll do that now, and also I've already pre-cut the strands now, and I'm going to start the plaiting. Alright, now this is the second belly of the bullwhip here. This is just starting it, so I've just pushed, I've just started the 10 plait and pushed all the bunched up bit to the top, so this should be able to get cut off easy when we're finished. But now I'm just plaiting down the whip now. This is it. Just plaiting down the whip, tightening as I go. I used to stop and tighten all of them, but I find if I tighten up here on the top and wrap it around, pull the strand through, and then tighten again down the bottom, that's sufficient. And I'm getting a good plait on the whole whip these days if I'm doing that. Do it in that way. Man, see how crunched over I am on this? I'm like this. No wonder I'm getting a sore neck. God damn it. Well, here we have the whip in its current state. Here is some hemostats, which I find very useful when I eventually just can't do it anymore. So I kind of like, I think of it as like a save game, like when you save a game in a video game. Saved my game, which is just after the diamond plate bit, but here it is. There's a diamond plate bit. Should have a bit of a springy nature to the end of the handle, and just plaited all that bit. So that by itself probably took about an hour. Early because this bit here took longer. Anyway, guys, that's it for the tonight. I need to sleep. Right, whip number 3 is somewhat of a fail. It's, well, not a complete fail, but a little bit. So here we have my first attempt of the Raiders whip. I haven't reattempted since, but here we are. You may look at this whip and it looks okay on camera, but there is seriously a lot of things wrong with this whip. The taper, for instance, doesn't really do it for me. It does taper down, but as it goes to the finished stuff, the plaiting is just not very good on this one. It's very like, this is kind of on this one. I didn't really tighten my plaiting very good, but you know, for a third whip, I'm not complaining too much. But I was a bit disappointed with this one. But it is a bit, yeah, it really is a bit all over the place, to be honest. So that was my first attempt of the Raiders whip, and yeah, I think it's to do with the plaiting. The plaiting was just so like flimsy and squishy. And again, this is the last whip I did with this kind of not as good wax. The wax on this one is just, it doesn't soak in as well as the golf wax that I got from America. But yeah, nope, number 3. And another thing with these is you really do learn new things every whip you do, because like, this is my first attempt of the strap. When I do the strap of the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull one, I'm going to make sure, because I don't know if you can see, but it's quite a lopsided heel knot here. I don't know, I've just learned a lot. You just learn a lot from every time you do it. So, yeah. Whip number 3. How you going, everyone? The 24th of April today, Monday. So here we have the second belly. It's 5 foot long. There we go. 5 foot long. There's the tapered out bit there. I just went ahead and did it all this morning from after the checkered pattern up here, the diamond plait. Anyway, this is my new athletic tape. I ran out of the black stuff, so now I've got the it's actually quite nice, because now I've marked it with the permanent marker at 6 foot and a foot, and then I'll go a little bit further with the artificial sinew just to get the nice curve. I'm actually quite happy with the curve so far. This is only one. This is obviously, we only binded it once on this first belly, so gonna do it second belly now. Yeah, I've rolled it once already, but now I'm gonna roll it again once I do all the binding. All right, the binding with the artificial sinew is done. I've done about 1.5 foot of artificial sinew down the whip. Gone down 6 inches, then gone back up, then gone down again another foot, then gone back up all the way to the top, and then gone down another 6 inches. So yeah, 1.5 foot all the way up. All right, the nylon thread is on, and I don't know if you guys can see that, but it is stiff. Yeah, so I think we've got to do it another time. Can you imagine how, and that's just got a really nice curve on it now. Can you imagine how it's going to be so, like, the transition is going to be real stiff as well, and it's just going to be awesome. Just like a real Terry Jacker J series, hopefully. I've never actually tried one, but I did, from my old Terry Jacker that I had, the transition was super, super stiff. And it came out like almost like this far and then eventually dipped down. Anyway, we've got to, I'm just going to snip out actually. I've got a few things to snip here. A few strands. It's the strand I just cut off. Strand there we go. Oh yeah, it's all ready to go though. Roll it. And then I might take a break and cut all the strands later on tonight. Here we are, guys. All of the strands for the third belly are cut. I'm gonna go and get, here it is here. I bought a silver marker so I can do some markings on it so I know what's going on. It's time to get that in the vise and plait it. So after the failure that was whip number 3, or the Raiders whip I made, I decided to really just kind of go back and think about what I can improve on, which is everything. And I made this beauty. Now this is a 8-foot kind of Australian style bullwhip. We've got Australian style bullwhips have longer handles. So this has got a foot handle foot long, and it's just really nice. It looks great. I've got it's plaited in rust. I took better care of the plaiting, and I came up with like a really good way of, which I'm doing on this whip we're making in this video, a way of tightening up as I go, and it's just come out really well, and it cracks just awesome, and it's got an awesome like rollout as well, and it's like you can crack this one of minimal effort. So this is probably the first kind of real success story one. This is a real success. The only thing wrong with it is that there's this heel knot is wobbly. After I waxed it, I didn't tighten it properly, so it kind of wobbles. So I can fix that if I want to, but I think I might just leave it because it's stuck on there anyway. But it does wobble, and it does annoy the hell out of me. But otherwise, everything else is quite good on it. So we got, yeah, I'm really quite pleased with how that turned out. The Australian bullwhip, 8-foot. Also, this is the first time I used this cracker. So I started using the cracker out of that paracord you get from Bunnings, and it's really quite good. So yeah, this one's an awesome whip. This is the first one I was really happy with. Alright, here is the third belly complete, all plaited, and I've just taped down 1.5 feet from the transition, and I'm going to bind two foot of it with artificial sinew, and then I've decided, because it is getting pretty stiff at the transition, I'm going to only do about probably about 3 inch past the transition with the nylon thread, because the nylon thread works so well. I don't want it to get like too stiff, if you know what I mean, because then it won't be able to form that loop and crack any good. So I've decided to do only 3 inch past the transition where the metal ends in the handle. Now hopefully that gives me the result I want once it's all done. Anyway, may as well start binding it now and see how I go. Right, hopefully I don't get in the way. Right, here we go. Right, going down the whip. The last bit of binding we'll get to do before the overlay goes on. Won't film all of this, but I just wanted you to see the binding process. And I'm hoping this whip turns out okay. I'm getting a bit nervous about it now, because I think hopefully I haven't made it to the transition too much. I think it's a good call not doing because I first was going to do it like a 1.5 foot of binding of the nylon thread, and I think that would have been a mistake. I think it would have been way too stiff. This is not my favourite bit, but I think if I get the pattern like this going, it makes me kind of want to get the pattern perfect. So it makes it a bit more exciting for me. Oh, damn it. There's that happens too sometimes. But the good thing about the artificial sinew, it's got wax all over it. So if you drop it and you release tension, it's not too bad. They don't all come unraveled. But with that nylon thread, if you drop it, like I just did, game over. It's a nice little pattern going on here. That's what I'm liking. Liking that. Alright, I'm going to start the nylon thread out back here, and here it is. This is the 1 foot, so that's 1 foot exactly. I want it only going about, well, it's 8 foot, so I want it only going 4 inch past, and to really stiffen it up. I don't really want any more of that. That's pretty damn stiff. So I'm going to do just that. Just that bit. Now, I'll start this thing. Okay, do the little loop trick. There we go. Alright, I guess the next thing to do with this is roll it one more time, and then the overlay goes on. Alright. Now I'm going to measure out. I'm going to put a mark at every foot so I know where I'm at when I'm plaiting the overlay. So let's have a look here. This is the 5th one. 5 foot mark here. So whip number 5, I got a bit cocky after made that whip, and then I was like, oh well, I can make anything now. So the next 2 whips are little experiments and of things I haven't done before. So then I made a snake whip, and this is the first time I did some like patterning with different colours, which was really awesome, and I like it how it's come out. It's like really cool whip, but I'm not really a big fan of snake whips. Snake whips don't have a handle. They've just got a heel knot, and you whip them like that. And like this one, again, it's come out really quite nice. I don't like snake whips. I just don't like snake whips. I don't find them that they're fun to crack, because I think you've got to put more effort into it. And I think the main thing with me is putting less effort into cracking a whip is good. Anyway, so here's a snake whip, and I've modelled the pattern and the colours after my pet carpet python. So that's why I got the inspiration for this one. Oh, and that heel knot for this one. Oh my god, I had a hell of a time with that. But I'm getting better at the heel knots. But yeah. It's early here at the moment. I would crack it, but it's early. Maybe I'll do one. Oh, Oh no. Anyway, whip number 5, the snake whip. Alright everyone, what you're seeing here is 10 strands of chocolate brown. This is what I've decided to go with. Here we go. This is like a hank I had already. But here we go, we've got a whole bunch here. I've tied knots in the middle, just all together with the hemostats. But this is what I'm going to do now. I'm a little bit scared, to be honest. I'm going to go straight into the diamond plait and I'll just hope it's not too hard. So I've just been doing this all morning. This is a 20 strand diamond plait, and it could be the most torturous thing I've ever put myself through. It's what I've done here has probably taken me about an hour and a half or 2 hours. Just now I'm going, I've got a good little rhythm going now, so I'm actually going okay. But holy, it is not a relaxing time, I can tell you right now. But what it has done is it's put me through some rigorous training, almost like Goku in the gravity chamber. And now I really don't see diamond plaits being too much of a problem for me in the future, because I've just done the most hardest one and I'm actually getting okay at the hardest one now. So in the future, should be okay to do lesser strand ones. Anyway, should be good. I'm going down. I've marked it here. I'm going down. I'm going to try and... I'm halfway. I'm going to go around here and then I'm going to switch to the herringbone. When it comes to whips, there's 3 main ones. You can get, there's bullwhips, stock whips and snake whips, and I find that they're the main 3 to even really worry about when you're, cracking whips and collecting whips. There's cow whips and there's, the performance hybrids and all that sort of stuff. I'm not really worried too much about them right now. I may attempt one of them in the future, but obviously that whip number 6 hadn't done a stock whip yet, so I did a stock whip, and I've always liked those white stock whips you see Adam Winterich use in his videos, and so I decided to do a white stock whip, and I learned a lot doing this. So I am looking forward to making another stock whip. I'm not too sure if I'm not a big fan of the tapered twist that was in the tutorial for this one. I might just end it like I usually do with the 4-point fall hitch. But otherwise, this one cracks really good. I do look forward to giving it another go, honestly, so I can have another go at the old stock whip. But I think I do enjoy the bull whips most of all. Anyway, whip number 6, I made a stock whip, white stock whip. Okay, there are all the whips I made, guys. Now let's see how this one turns out. How you going, guys? Back at it again. It's the 30th of April today, and I'm at 12 plait bit. I think I'm just a little bit over 3 feet of the whip, so still plenty of time to go. That's looking pretty good. I'm really pleased about. This is some of my best plaiting work, I reckon. If you can have a closer look at that, if we can get a close look, it's just looking very nice. Anyway, I'm going to continue now. Continue going down. I like putting the hemostats here. It's almost like a save progress bit. Anyway, I'm going to keep going. Next drop is down here. I'm pretty sure this is 4 foot, but I actually can't remember at this point. I need to measure again. How you going, everyone? Corey Baker here. We are next morning after the last update. Here is the whip so far in the vise. Looking very nice. I'm actually really pleased with some of the plaiting work. Some of the best plaiting work I've done, I reckon. we have plaited up to, I'm coming up to 7 foot on the third belly now. So, and I'm currently at 8 plait as well. So, not too long to go. So, just about 3 feet to go in plaiting. So, I actually, the end is near. So it's pretty good feeling. I've got a bit of work to do today. So, I'll just do a little bit now. I've got my coffee here. And so I'll go and do some more plaiting now and see where I get up to. How you going, guys? So it's the 2nd of May today. I'm getting quite close to finishing the plaiting of the 10 foot Kingdom of the Crystal Skull whip. I am going to tie the knots in this walnut brown. So on the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, the knots are a bit darker than the overall bit of the whip. So I'm going to do the so this is brown, as you can see, but I'm going to do the knots on the handle in that colour. Because I'm getting close to finishing the whip, I'm now going to do a fall. So if you're watching this, the fall is you can change the fall out as well. It's an interchangeable bit at the end of the whip. It's just another bit of the whip to help with the taper. So it goes to a strand of paracord, and on the end we're going to tie the cracker, and I'll be making the cracker out of the gutting of the Bunnings warehouse paracord, or the grunt paracord, because that stuff's a bit better. So I'm just feeding it through. I'm feeding this stuff I've got in this paracord needle. Got these new paracord needles that actually fit in these ones, which is fantastic because I've been struggling with it for a while now. So these are just the right diameter that you can slowly feed the paracord through itself using the paracord needle. It's getting a bit, it's not really wanting to go too far right now, but it will. There we go. Right, I'm just gonna leave the loop there like that for the moment, and I'll leave the paracord needle on it until I finish my plaiting. Now I'll just continue a bit now on camera, because we're starting to near the end of this. Alright, here we go. Might feed it up there. Right. Unpause my game, and now I think just in case, I can't really remember what I filmed for this video, but just in case I haven't filmed this, my method, which I found has made my plaiting so much better, is that the way I tighten the strands. That one is pointing to this one up here, so I give this one a pull quite tightly, and then now that's tightened, so I can wrap that around. And we're going to the below 2, above 1 on that left side, and then I can tighten it again on this side, so now it's tightened again. Now the other way, tighten that side, tighten it on this side to pull it through. And as you can see, hopefully, that little drop strand is now disappearing underneath the plaiting. And that's what you want. That will further make the taper better. Alright guys, I don't know why I didn't film this, but I just finished the overlay and I attached the fall with a 4-point fall hitch, and now I'm about to roll out the body of the whip, and it's by far my favourite part. Alright, and I'm about to roll it now. let's see what happens. Oh, these whips come up so nice when you roll them. I always find they roll up so nicely once you do this. This is essential though. This is an essential part of the whole process. Have to roll your whip. It flattens all the braiding. Braiding looks awesome afterwards. And I just find it generally tightens everything as well. Don't have to do as much pressure when you get down to this bit down here. Okay, as you can see, here's the whip on the ground. Now, I was worried I got the tapering bad at the end, but it actually tapers out beautifully. So I'm super pleased. I thought I stuffed up the whole thing. But as you can see, overall whip tapers down right to the end where the fall is. So there's the fall connected to the 4.4 hitch, and then I've just got the weight there so it doesn't tangle about. Right, what I did, put it in the vise, and then I put some electrical tape just to firstly fasten it, and then I fastened it with the athletic tape, and then I used the hacksaw and sawed it off, and I'm really happy to say that that is the end of our metal rod at the start. So I actually got it like as good as I could, and then I've just obviously, you know, here it is here, chopped off. Then I, you know, hacked away at it. I have to clean up, I know. But I'm super happy with that. Now, this is a really satisfying bit, so I thought I'd film it for you. I'm going to use the lighter, and we're going to basically seal off it all. Here's my little piece of there we go. It's a little bit uneven, but it'll be fine for what I want. Alright, this should do the trick. Just to go over. Seal it off from the world, so it will never be seen again. I've been putting this off all morning, but we got to finish this whip. So, Indiana Jones whips, they always have a wrist loop. I wish they didn't, because I just do not use wrist loops when cracking whips. So I have to go and do a flat braid for a wrist loop now. Now I would like a kind of skinny one. I might do, I don't know, it depends. I might do a 4-plait one or a 3-strand one. I'm just gonna see what works. I don't know if you can, I'm sure you can do a 3-strand one. We'll see what's going on. So I've just done a little braid now for the wrist loop. It looks nice, but I personally don't think it's gonna cut it. I think I'm gonna have to do a thicker one. It's pretty small. So I think we'll go and add another strand in there. Alright, now I'm gonna try 4. I'm gonna try 4 now. Let's try that. Let's try that one. Now. think that'll work. Let me see if I can get this pattern going. Okay, I have figured out the pattern. So on the left you go, this is an even number this one, so I don't really usually do even numbers. Left you go under, on the right you go over under. Bam, look at that. It's looking quite nice this is. So I'll actually do, yeah, I'll do the 4-strand one. Under on the left, on the right, over, under. There we go. Under on the left. I feel quite smart about this because I figured this out. Over, under. Under on the left, on the right, over, under. And you just do that, it's very simple. There we go, we're getting a nice wrist strap going. I didn't want the wrist strap too thick on this one, so this will do quite nicely. Right, I'm going to get this to a desired length and then start thinking about attaching it to the handle of our whip and building up the foundation for our heel knot. Alright, so I have braided a nice hand loop. You can see that. This stupid camera doesn't like focusing. And I've just tied some athletic tape around the ends so it doesn't come undone. And I'm just going to throw that on the. I'm going to put that on the handle now, and chuck some staples in it, and it should stay there forever. Hopefully this doesn't stuff up. So put it here. Try and line it up perfectly, how the whip flows. I'll go over that with a hammer, make sure they're in there. Maybe a sideways one. We don't want this ever coming undone. There we go. Well, she's good and properly in there now. Right, she's in. It looks like I completely butchered this, but I think it's gonna work. So we've got some vinyl, brown vinyl in between, and I've got some, this is just, I've built this up with paracord just so I get the same thickness as this. So paracord with lactic tape, and this is the same, and that's on the other side as well, you can't see it. I'm basically going to try and shape this knot now as best I can, and then I'm just going to use artificial sinew, and then I'm going to put one last bit of like leather around this, and hopefully then that will be the sufficient kind of knot foundation that I'll use to then I'll obviously I'll coat it with another piece of athletic tape and then tie the knot over it. It's all looking good now. I've shaped that as best I can with a whole lot of artificial sinew. Then I went over with some, you know, kind of like hobby leather sort of stuff, just that leather and like that. And then I've gone over with more artificial sinew after that, and then some athletic tape for the grip, because I find this grips onto the knot really well. I've done the foundations now, so I've got the it's all ready to go. So I've got this bit here, gonna have that as a big heel knot, and this bit as the quite bulky actually foundation transition knot. But it should be good once it's done. Yeah, all ready to go. Here we go, guys. We've got the knot finished. I'm actually in the morning now. I actually had to redo the foundation for it because it didn't fit before, but it's fitting a bit better now. There is a few spaces. I'm gonna try and roll the I'm gonna try and roll it and see if I can't get it better, but that's it pretty much. And then I need to burn the little bits there and cut them off. And anyway, I'm just gonna roll it a bit, see if I can't shape it, and then I might give the whip an overall roll, and then the waxing process, and then we're done. I'm very keen to get it finished. And there we have it, guys, the completed handle. So all I have to do now is wax the whip, and then it's finished. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give it one more roll on the board here, and then I'm going to go and heat up some wax, and then it'll be finished. And then while the wax is heating up, we'll make a cracker for when that comes out of the wax, and then that's it. We've done it. There we have it. She's ready to go and wax. So I'm very happy about the end product. I could right now put a cracker on it and start cracking it now, but then it's not waxed yet. For maximum performance, and it will also tighten up everything, and it'll make everything just that little bit more better, we're gonna wax it. Alright, and that's probably the best wrist loop I've done so far as well. I really took my time on it. It's one of my best plaiting as well. There we go. Look at that. Alright, I can't wait to see what it looks like after it's been waxed, because it will actually darken up and it'll have a really nice kind of look to it as well. It will darken up. These will get really dark, but then with my use of my hand, like in this after use, you'll get this lighten up a bit more as well and get back to this dark brown. So yeah, it should be really good. Can't wait. Alright, we've got my waxing pot here, and we've got fresh wax from Amazon. Now, so it's a couple, you can do paraffin wax, that's what I've been using, and that's what's recommended from other whip makers, like the paracord whips. But I spent the money and got this is like golf. I'll show you in a second. We'll get this out. Here we are. It only comes in little packets like this, so there's heaps of them. But this stuff is way better. I love this stuff. It just works, and it just really soaks into the whip and makes it good. So, golf wax, paraffin wax. So, I already have some golf wax in here. And now I go through the process of just opening these and chucking them in. So they come in blocks like this. The last time I did it, the whip, it wasn't like, I didn't have enough. So that's plenty. It's gonna be freaking awesome. I didn't have enough to cover the whole whip, so now it's definitely gonna be enough now. I've got something like, it's probably got 6 kilo worth in there now. Yeah, she's on. Okay, I'll just let that simmer away and come back and show you once it's done. Okay, with the wax on the stove bubbling away, we're going to make a cracker for the whip. So we're going to get some paracord gutting. Get that out of the paracord. Find the middle. That, put the hemostat on it. And to the top again. And then we're going to spin it around with the hemostats. This hemostat's just spinning around until there's some good tension on it. There it goes. And what it's doing is it's winding up the nylon thread. Now, try not to do too tight. That's looking pretty good so far. There we go. It's about ready. I like to do it about as soon as like it becomes hard to twist it. And you find the middle. There we go. Grab it from the third. And now we're just going to let it go. And there we have it. Now that's a cracker bit there. Now it's obviously too long for a cracker, so I've got a little measuring piece of wood here. It's a tiny bit long, but it's not too bad. The overall length is the same. There we go. That's a cracker there. So just having a look at the wax. Look at that. Almost all melted, but there's a lot there. I can tell you right now. Alright, well, soon enough we'll be able to take that outside, give it a stir, wait until the temperature hits around 105 Celsius, and then we'll dip the whip in. Okay guys, we're outside, ready to wax the whip. We've got the whip ready. There's going to be it's a little soaking towel. I've got a stick to go and stir the wax. I've got some paper towels, and I have a temperature reader. Now, this is the risky bit. I'm probably going to leave the camera rolling just in case, you know, my family and friends want to know how I die accidentally if I spill this thing. But I'm gonna I'm going to the stove now to carry this bloody thing. I'm gonna put it right here. It's obviously like it's over 100 degrees right now, so if I drop it, then that's it, I'm dead. Anyway, what's life without a little bit of risk? Here we go. Alright, we've got touchdown. I haven't been burnt. Everything is good. Alright. So, what I like to do, put this down, give it a stir. It's 109. Alright, it's just about go time. Go time now. Okay, 104. Here she goes into the pot. Ooh, I just got some on my hand. There you go, fully submerged already. And as you can see, it's all bubbling away. And what we want to do is we want to wait until those bubbles go away. See, it's dropping. It's not too bad. As long as it doesn't get too cold. You don't want it to be in there when it's like at 80. Okay, I am calling it. I'm taking it out. Yep, alright, here it comes. Oh, I didn't get my paper towel. It's all happening. Alright. It's bloody hot. I can already feel it through the... Also, I've got my not very good clothes on, so I don't ruin my clothes, because this is... You can see how dark it comes out. And you want to just give it a... Oh, it's gone through the sand. Give it a rub with the towel. get that excess off. This is always stressful, this bit, I tell you. Okay, let's go. Oh, she dropped in the bloody wax again. Oh. All right. Let it soak in the sun, in that nice natural curl. And then I think that'll be it for now. All right. Okay, there we go, guys. There we go. The whip is going to soak there in the sun for probably about 10 minutes, and then we'll assess what's going on. It's very dark. See how dark it's become? Some of the brown and colours will come back when the more use the whip has, and it will look quite nice after a few cracks as well. Alright, very exciting there for a moment. Alright guys, well, I'll just turn the camera off for now. I'll let the whip soak in the sun. I'll clean it up a bit. I'll get this pot of death somewhere so it doesn't burn me, and then we'll give it a test crack. Well, here we go, guys. We've reached the end of our journey. It's still a little bit warm, but here she is. The Kingdom of the Crystal Skulls Indiana Jones bullwhip made out of paracord. And as you see, look how well it like, oh, the waxing really does do the trick, I tell you. It becomes quite a lot more sturdy, and it just feels like a weapon now. Hey, it absolutely is awesome. It gets very dark, as you see, but you know, it's not bad. And like I was saying before, a lot of that will come off. The dark, it will hold its kind of rigidness and be as good as it can be still, but it will the color will lighten. So it just looks absolutely awesome, doesn't it? I'm very happy. I'm very happy with it. I'm also very happy I'm finished it, because I tell you what, it just went for ages. It's probably because, well, you got to think about it. You when you do the third belly, you're still plaiting almost like an 8-foot whip. So you've pretty like the time is, oh man, it's like I've like plaited 2 whips worth in here, and then obviously the overlay is 10 foot, so that freaking goes forever. So anyway, it's feeling really good. It feels a little bit, you know, obviously a little bit warm and waxy still at the moment, but yeah, I got the handle looking pretty good. I do believe that the handle is probably, it looks kind of spot on really. I'm pretty happy with the handle. The Indiana Jones bullwhip. And we all know what time it is. It's time to see if it cracks, and then basically this is what it's all come to. Alright. Alright guys, I've been eyeing this park off for a while actually. It's a non-dog park in the council I live in, and so there's honestly I've never seen anyone here. You can't bring your dog here, so anyway, it's got a wall right around it as well, so that's really good acoustics for whip cracking. The people I haven't done it here, so they might not like it. But anyway, time to test it out. First crack. Whoa, feels pretty good. There we go. Works beautifully. Oh, that wall is loud. Holy Christ. This is amazing. Amazing. Oh. Oh man. There we go. Works beautifully. I am so happy with that. Amazing. Oh, I don't think I've actually made a better one. That one actually is probably, that is, well, it's the first 10-foot one which actually works really well. Like, I don't really even have to put too much effort into cracking it. Just a simple throw. That's oh, that's good. I like that. That cracks easy as. Just want to do a little test, see actually how easy it can crack. So, the overhead. No. Man, that's easy. That is easy. Oh. Yeah, you can't get much better than that. Well, there we have it, guys. I'm back home now after that. I'm so pleased how it turned out. It cracks so well. I'm so happy. Now, let's have a quick close-up of the whole thing so I can say goodbye to the video. Really happy how that turned out too. That looks really good. Here we have it. Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. 10-foot free-bellied nylon whip. Bullwhip. Indiana Jones style. Thank you very much. See the colour is starting to come back to the knot. Anyway guys, it cracks so well. I'm really pleased. It's like one of my best cracking whips, I reckon. It's very good. I'm starting to think what's the future in this. I don't know. Only time will tell. Anyway guys, thanks so much for watching me if you got this far into the video. This whip probably took me about 20 hours, or 25 hours maybe. This is a little bit longer because it's got 3 bellies. But if you want to learn how to do this, I would go to Nick's Whip Shop YouTube channel. He's basically the whole reason I can do this. I have got some of his methods, and I have done my own little tweaks on some of his methods, so it is my method. Now I've got a way of I like calculating the taper and everything before I start going now and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, he's basically the guy that taught me online, so it's all thanks to him. And if you want to go to his channel, I'll leave it in the description and go and have a look. He's got a whole bunch of tutorials how to do make these things. Very good. Alright guys, like, comment and subscribe. Let me know what you reckon of the video. I've had a good time making it. The cracker came off, so that's the end for me. Anyway, I'll see you next time. See you later.